Yeah, man. So much paperwork today. Man.
What a day at work.
I totally agree.
Hey, wanna go get a drink later? Maybe some buffalo wings or something?
Nah, I can't. I'm totally burnt out.
Hey guys, welcome back to PsychBROtherapy. I'm Rob. First off, I want to thank everyone who is returning to the channel to watch this video. It's absolutely crazy to me that I got such a positive response from so many people, and I want to thank all of you so much for your support, for views. I've got 7 subscribers already. What? Who are you people? I mean, what? I'm so honored that you would take the time to subscribe and that you would actually want to watch something like this. In here. Right in this general area. I feel it. To those of you who haven't subscribed yet, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Okay? Anyways, enough of being stupid in that particular way. One of you commented that you would like to see a video on humor and the importance of humor in our daily living, how it adds to our quality of life, things like that. Who doesn't like to learn about humor? And hopefully in a funny way. So when I was talking to people about making this video, someone suggested that I make a dirty joke, but I said, that will just soil my reputation, and it would take me forever to clean up my act. You like that? Well, you win scum, you lose scum. So we first have to ask the question, what is humor? What is humor? What does it mean? What does it mean? What is humor? What is it? According to some articles that I read, humor is a positive attribute that has been found to pretty significantly contribute to positive life outcomes, as well as to people's ability to resiliently respond to stressors or traumatic events in their lives. Before you go ahead and stop watching this video and move on to another one, because that was a pitifully vague definition of what humor is, hear me out. Humor applies to so many different situations and is such a personalized thing in terms of how people experience it and express it that it kind of makes sense that you would have to be a bit general and vague with it, because not only is it different from person to person, but also in the intensity of how it's expressed or experienced. So for the sake of the broadest description that can be best applied to different kinds of people, that's the definition that I think works really well. It's not necessarily something that you can tangibly identify. People just kind of have it, and they find it and they use it when they need it. But when I was doing the research for this video, I was trying to figure out what kinds of humor there are and different examples of it, and I found something like 20 different kinds of humor. I'm a college student and I'm working like 3 different jobs and I'm not getting paid to do this, so I was like, who has the time to come up with 20 different kinds of jokes based on all the different possibilities? So just like any good studious college student, I tried to figure out a loophole and a convenient way of getting out of doing all the extra work. Here's what I did find that I actually thought would be useful and was quite frankly much easier for me to be able to figure out ways to talk about. Martin, Pulick, Doris, Larson, Gray, and Wire in 2003. I desperately apologize to the researchers for butchering their names. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But at any rate, these researchers essentially identified 4 different kinds of humor styles that people use. What I thought was really cool about this was that these are pretty general categories that a lot of different kinds of humor fit into, and they're essentially assessed based on how they help people to connect with other people, how they maybe hurt people in their ability to connect with other people, how they protect them from toxic situations, or how they even maybe persist struggles that people have and really deteriorate their health and well-being. So let's talk about those. Now, the first humor style that I read about is called affiliative humor, And this is basically the warmest, snuggliest, friendliest, kindest, most non-hostile, non-aggressive kind of humor that people can use. Witty banter, telling puns, teasing each other very good-naturedly, just really trying to bring the group together. So did you hear about the argument that the clock and the lamp got into? Man, that clock really got ticked off. I don't know, he's just wound too tight. What can I say? Oh, that's terrible. That's just terrible. The second kind of humor that is still very positive is called self-enhancing humor. This is really when people are stuck in a negative situation or a negative emotional state, and they use something about that negative situation or that bad place that they're in and find something funny about it. And the purpose of that is really to boost their self-esteem, boost their resiliency, help themselves to feel better and to be able to get through that time without there being a negative personal cost to themselves, their relationship with someone else, or other people's perceptions of themselves. For example, we all know how stressful finals can be, but did you hear about the guy who had a heart attack while studying for his final exams? Yeah, it's tragic. I mean, just look at that agony. Yep, he passed. Now, you might remember when I first started this video that I said that humor is a positive attribute that is strongly linked to positive life outcomes. But unfortunately, humor is a tool. And just like any tool, it can be used for good things or not so good things. So
We now come to the dark side of humor. Join us.
these humor styles will probably come as no surprise to you because I've been both a perpetuant and a recipient over the course of my lifetime, and I'm sure you have too. People can be mean! So the first of the dark humor styles is aggressive humor, where someone is using things like teasing and ridicule and disparagement and sarcasm as a way to get the laugh, but at someone else's expense. Aggressive humor does serve a purpose, but unfortunately it's a dark purpose. It's going to help the person who's making the joke to feel better, they might get the laugh, but over the long term, it's probably going to alienate them from the people who they're making the jokes towards, or they're just going to alienate people from them in general because it has a pretty long-term negative impact on relationships. So an example of aggressive humor might be something like,
Hey, yo, Rob.
What?
I like that bow tie.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
Yeah, 1982 called it wants its wardrobe back.
Oh. Well, there you go. So, use with caution. The last of the four humor styles, and the second dark style of humor, is called self-defeating humor. You might also know it as self-deprecating humor. What you're really doing is you're breaking yourself down in order to get the laugh. The cost that comes with this humor style is that you feel less and less worthwhile. You feel less valuable. I'm sure that you know people who are very competent, very confident, and who use self-deprecating humor or self-defeating humor, and maybe that doesn't come with a cost. Maybe that doesn't harm their self-esteem or their reputation with other people. I think the important thing to realize is that this is a tool that you're applying selectively. So, you may have heard all this and be asking yourself,
That's great and all, but how am I going to make that helpful for me?
almost on an instinctive level, we know that it's healthy for us. But what's cool is that the research backs that up too. Using humor not only helps us to be more resilient by helping us to be able to distance ourselves from negative situations or emotions, but it also helps us to create a better perception of our environment. It's a process called upregulating or downregulating. We're creating a more positive perception of the environment, which helps us to create a sense of balance while also bringing down some of the negative stuff that we might get trapped in. You probably want to be aware of what kind of humor style you tend to use in your day-to-day life. But then also try to find the humor in the day-to-day life. Find what's funny, find what makes you laugh, and follow that with a passion, because you'll probably find your quality of life improving and your relationships improving if you do that. Find your person. Find that someone who makes you laugh without reservation, to the point where people at the restaurant ask to get their dinners comped because you're laughing so loud and you're having such a good time. That actually happened more than once. Find your favorite funny movie. I mean, we have a whole industry simply focused around comedy, and there is a different kind of comedy for every person. Listen to stand-up. There are people who make their whole careers around making people like you laugh. And if you don't like one person who does stand-up, find someone whose stand-up you do like. Make jokes with your friends. Make the conscious decision to try to find the humor in every situation. And whether or not people are rolling on the ground laughing, you find yourself looking at the world in a more positive way. Quite frankly, I don't think I need all the laughter from everyone around me if I'm laughing and I'm having a good time. Watch YouTube. You are literally on one of the biggest depositories of humor and stupid videos and random things, and go find that person who's going to tell joke after joke after joke and just enjoy watching them laugh along. You could even laugh intentionally. I mean, this sounds really weird, but there are neuroscience studies that say that simply smiling creates a change in your emotional state. I even heard about this thing called a laughing club where people get together and they just laugh. It's kind of weird to think about, but when you think about how good you feel when all those endorphins get released after you've had a good long laugh session, maybe it's not so weird after all. Oh, sorry. Wow. So there you have it. I may not have all the answers about how to make humor a better part of your life, but I do know that if you can find that way that works for you, you'll find yourself enjoying life a lot more. That's about all I've got for today, so have a good one. Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. Hey, wait, I've got an idea.